And this is going to be multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. All right, so let's go over, let's just go over one of each so we have a good example because we're officially doing our notes now. I guess I need to, I already did. Oh, good. So let's just keep it basic here. I like one steps. Most of the time you can check it in your head. Try to do this without me. All right, it shouldn't take too long. Okay, and moving on with another kind. Let's do this other kind here. Okay, so we do inverse operation, and that's how I got this. I'm going to do inverse operation again, and this time I'm going to get x equals 16. So this would be basically, this is basically the one-step equation. And what step did I use? I used a subtraction step. What step did I use here? I used an addition step. Okay, because I did the inverse operation. What we need to be careful about is when we get into this, to see the difference between this and this. Okay, remember we put this in the notes as a coefficient. This is just a constant term. If there's not space, if there's not a plus sign or a minus sign in between the two, it means multiply. What's the opposite of multiply? Divide. So we're going to divide both sides by 5. Technically it makes it into a fraction, but it's just division. Fraction is just division. Let me get rid of that. Okay, and this is the other way we might see it. This will be the multiplication step. X 7. People just forget how to do these problems. They get confused because it looks like a fraction, and people hate fractions. They hate them so bad. But it's not actually I mean, it is a fraction, but that's not how we treat it. We treat it like a division problem. And so that's all you do. So these would cancel, and x would equal 21. Okay, so those are the four we've done. We didn't necessarily have calculators last week, but now we should. And so this is the thing that I'm adding how to do. Okay. So there are multiple ways to do this. I'm going to teach you the proper way to do this. And the reason why I'm going to teach you the proper way to do this, it will help you in the future. And not in the close future, but in the distant future. When your fractions start getting more complicated. They're not going to be very complicated for now. So what we're supposed to do here is we're supposed to multiply by the reciprocal. To get rid of a fraction, we multiply by the reciprocal. And if you remember what the reciprocal means, it means basically to flip your fraction. So this is the one step. And a calculator does help if you're just not really good at fractions. Okay, the reason why I multiply by reciprocal is what is 3 divided by 3? It's 1, right? Cancels. What's 2 divided by 2? Cancels. What's left? And then just put that in the calculator. What is this? 21? I don't think so. Are we getting 8, 10, 9? Okay, and that's what all it is. Okay, can you just divide both sides by, in your calculator, by 2/3? Yes, you can. Your calculator can handle that. I'm going to show you this way because I know if you learn this way, once you get to really hard fractions, it will help you. And this is what I mean by a hard fraction. We're not going to have fractions like this for a while. In fact, to do a lot with this, you're going to have to be in Algebra 2 or Algebra 3. Okay, does that look like a hard fraction? So you couldn't easily do this, but if you know this trick right here, it will help you once we get here. We're not going to be here. We're going to start working a little bit with this, in the early spring, but we're not going to get quite this hard. This is more of an Algebra 2 concept. So for now, we're going to deal with fractions like this, little happy fractions, right? Okay, let's do one more little happy fraction, and then I'll let you start working. And hopefully we'll get done early today. That's my goal anyways. So let's do this right here. 4/9 x negative. Let's make it really hard, or as hard as I possibly can. And we're going to make this equal 20. Okay. We're going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. So I'm going to multiply both sides by what? 9/4. What about this negative? How do I get rid of this negative? Can I just multiply by negative 9/4? And that would mean I'd have to multiply this other side by negative 9/4? Is that right? How would I put that in the calculator? 20 times negative 9/4. Okay. Remember the difference between the minus sign and the negative sign? Okay. And we get 45, negative 45. Does that seem reasonable? Okay. All right, let's go ahead and turn this page over, and we should get done early. And let's go through, let me turn this off because it might change next year.